Yeah, well, Prof here, and hopefully I'm not blocking the camera because today we've got another new package. This time, nondescript. Well, yay shape. You might be able to guess what it is then. And I'll let you know that it is related to boom, boom. So we got a side clip, we got a slim bolt, and we got a bolt V2. Tactile turn, Cross Customs. So that should give you a hint as to in what's in the box. It's not a box. It's a package. I don't know if I can do this one-handed. Nope. Barely. All right. Trailhead Slim Side Click Standard. I don't remember him. Oh, that box is fucking cool. Some people said it had a different logo. It doesn't have a different logo. Like, these are trees. It's fucking awesome. I'm impressed, that's for sure. On the side too. Oh, with a little Yeti. I should have brought it, but this is the successor to the Overlander. Not the Fairway. Both are side click. I have the seasonal release from Tactile Turn. I do have the Slim Bolt. Most of the seasonal, all but one, have been side clicks, which are my preferred. They did have a bolt. Did not like it. It was just black and red. Love this Slim Bolt though. So basically, combine these two and get what's in there. The box is way cooler than I expected. Oh, it shifted in transit. Oh, it's a much lighter click mechanism on the side click than it's got much more snap to it. This is a bit more softer. It has a looker though. Oh, and the Bolt V2 from Cross is here just because I wanted the refill from it. That is the, if you guys haven't tried this and you have G2 compatible pens, that is the Juice Up successor to the Pilot Juice refill right there, which is the Juice is a alternative to the G2, like the Pilot G2 in that size. So by default, all Tactile Turn standard size stuff fits a G2. Now the G2 is very, very close to what's in, this takes a G2, the Bolt V2 does. Very, very close to a Uniball refill. In the side click, it fits without any modification. On the original Bolt, let's just say I took a carbide drill bit to it, like literally the same day I got it. I just like having more choices for my refills. Now the Slim Bolt, if you look there, that is the Uniball refill. Perfect fit. The only thing that Squeers and I experienced was you want to, in the Slim Bolt, change out the spring that's in here for a standard G2. Like take a standard G2 pen, steal a spring out of it. Much better. I still kept the original, but It just made this, because otherwise it was impossible to get the tip back on and off, and the mechanism was way, way too hard. So you got a little bit less room here than on the original bolt. Now, here is the slim side click. Look at that. This is the keyboard I fixed up, so you guys, or keyboard, wrist rest. No movement, you see that? Check out that video. But that speckled finish, and you got the same thing you have in the box. Trees and the Yeti. This has the new clip design. Previous clip design originally came out on the side click. This more squared off double bolt design here. Very thick here, pretty thin here, very tight. Then this got the bolt does not have that, but the slim bolt does. And this clip is a bit heftier than really required, I think, for this. I want to call this more, not dainty, elegant of a pen with a slim bolt. So it's really nice that they, here, you can see there, they actually beefed up the metal, the skinny metal portion here, but made that quite a bit smaller, the upper part of the clip. It looks like the little bump is a little bit bigger, which should smooth out the angles, make it a little less like rough or tight. So this part, Squeers always had an issue with this part on this clip where it's real thin. You thought that was going to break. I had no qualms. They really didn't improve it because they made this smaller, means they could get it more up towards the top. Possibly not possible to bolt mechanism. For the side click though, quite possible. The bigger radius, it just wants to roll. Side click this is based on a classic pen design. You don't really see anymore. I'd say it's from like late 80s, 90s. I had quite a few. You click it, and then you pop the thing on the side, and it pops up. Very simple, very reliable. You can see this seam down here a little bit. I might be able to adjust that when I change inks out. Ooh, the speckling seems to be somewhat random. It's kind of cool. You can see it's heavier there. Now, on all my other ones, one second. It's probably impossible to see for you guys. There you go. See, Tactile Turn 2022. He's got that on all of his 2020 there. Tactile Turn 2022 on there. This one, I saw that. I knew I had to have it. This is on par with the Nautilus. Maybe even better because of the golf ball design here on the clip. But the fairway was chef's kiss, you know. Alright, so there's the original spring. Pretty coarse. Original G2 refill. In here we have pulled out the G2 spring and the Uniball refill out of the bolt. Squares was correct. You do not want to use the G2 spring. It hangs up. Give it a loud crunch. There you go. You can probably heard that real good there. It hangs up. So the G2 spring either isn't long enough or doesn't provide enough force. Now it is about 3/4 the length. It's about here. Now putting back together the slim bolt with that spring in, it's like a 5-handed job, more like 3. But going to G2, you just put it on, put the spring on, put it on there. For the side click, I think because the mechanism sits higher up in the pen, more that way. See how the clip can be higher as well? Yeah, I can see that. Right, so the mechanism can be higher up. There's less tension on that spring, so you can just pop it in here on the slim side click and no issues. So I would recommend do not change that spring to a G2 like I recommend on the slim bolt. And from what I could tell, Uniball and G2 work the same in this guy without modification. Let's do a bit more comparison here. Probably best to go against the standard side click here. So we already went over the clip. You can see it's a little bit thicker in the middle part here. And at the top, we're skinnier. Here, see? Reason for that is we went from 2 screws, Torx, to 1. Much cleaner look. In this case, it was often used as a contrasting point, like the white on the yellow, with the yellow clip matching the plunger. And in this case, I went with a single one that matches the plunger. And I got that really nice design on the plunger there, or on the clip, with a contrasting side button. Okay, something else to notice. Contours around this lip are the same, right? But this plunger and all of these has been very squared off. It might have been a little bit less so on, like I have an original copper one, but over time it's very square off. It feels very good because you're like pushing it down and it's like a nice flat. Right there like that, right? On this one you can see, however, they put that same, I'm gonna call it like a chamfer. It's round. I feel like this one you can do like this, and I usually like that. You can do like that. I feel with the slim, being slim, I'm gonna be far more likely to do that rather than big old thumb like I do on the standard side click. The other thing to notice is look at that side click button. That is not clicked in. Compare that to the standard side click. The standard side click protrudes much farther. Clicked in, sticks out about that far. Okay, clicked in. And I think that really, it does come out a little bit, you can see that. But I think that lower profile, like basically it's a slight bump when it's not out. And I think that'll really help with this, the slimmer profile, like I said, these, especially like in the silver, though, this one's a little bit more flashy, obviously being one of the seasonal releases. Specifically, as I said before, it is the Trailhead successor, like kind of a successor to the, I think it was like Overlander, which I do have. You may have seen in previous videos. That was the first one that put a textured clip on, and it had like hash marks or something in there. Now, I mean, they got whole designs on the clip, so everything's going. I will say that that line there, that seam, is like definitely more obvious than say on this guy. Now, if I point it right at it, you can see it obviously. And I think that's just due to this texture random paint job they have. I know normally they mill it and then put the where it comes from, tactile turn, the bumps milled all the way down, and he mills it with the cap on, so it all lines up. You can kind of see that really nicely on the game and see where that seam is. It's right there, but like very hard to see. It's all milled as one piece. I think that's going to be a bit harder to do, and this is by painted or Cerakoted with like the random splotches and stuff. Yeah, that much lower profile button, like I said, adds the elegance to the slimness. Oh, you can even see the clip is actually tapered too. It goes from this wider point down to a skinnier one, and that'll help as well, because if you look at the side click there, it's just one big old flat piece. Same with the slim bolt here. So I think that like all those things kind of add to make this even a more elegant pen. If you got that in the standard silver like Squares did, I'm sure it'll look like just really, really nice. I like this one a lot. That's why I got it. Especially if they're coming out with a new pen design, and I'll side with the seasonal one. So you can always go and get one of those, But I think they did a decent job with here. That clip, I like to emphasize the new clip. That's really, really well done. Oh, and I did some testing. I don't know if you guys can see this in here, but that is my Juice Up refill. I think this is probably my go-to refill now. It's got that plastic part on there, right? But then it's a conical needle tip. So it's like a hybrid tip where it's conical and then it goes to a needle tip. Needle tip is on a Hi-Tec-C. Got one of those right here, an OG. Hi-Tec-C, that's going to be needle point. What those do I have? Only just the one. Next, I got a bunch of pens that I keep around here, just in case I forget a nice one at home. You got Sharpie pens, you got Hi-Tec-C, you got a standard Juice here. That's even got the protector still on, but that's a standard conical. Here's a standard Juice right there, very conical. I would say that this is a very sharp writing pen. I would say feels very, very precise. Juice Up just feels so much more smooth though, and I like it's because of that needle point. Those are very smooth because there's like how the ball is held. However, Hi-Tec-C is these guys, and they do come in a click variant. I forget what it is because I've tried putting it in a Bolt V2 before, and you cannot store them tip down. They have to be stored flat or tip up. Otherwise, they pour all their ink out based on how they work. And the click, and I was confused because there is a click one that fits a G2 that is a Hi-Tec-C. However, if you look at all the pens they make, they're capped that use that refill, so it's still in your pocket tip up. So that's the thing. Hi-Tec-C, always keep it tip up. And the other one is what's in here. That's a Uniball 1. That's in this one. And it's a dye, it's a pigment ink, not a dye ink. So that means the pigment sits on top of the paper rather than the dye goes into it. This would compete against your Signo and your other Uniball like Super Ink, like cellulose and stuff like that. I don't know if it's necessarily better. Some people like it because it's darker and it doesn't have a sheen to it. However, not archive safe for the one here, Uniball 1. Whereas the other Uniballs, especially the light fast one, that'd be the UMR 83, I want to say. and the 83E is the cellulose. I personally like the cellulose. Writes super smooth. But if you're going for like archive quality, you're doing like anti-tamper, all that sort of stuff. You want the light fast ink variant, which will be standard 83. Whereas the 83E is the here's an 83. Like it's decently smooth. It's definitely rougher than a juice up. Not as rough as a juice, in my opinion. And the one is definitely smoother than the 83. I don't have an 83E. I don't believe it this time. So it's this. Yeah, you see that's an issue with Hi-Tec-C is they have. See that? I have not had that yet with a juice up. Now this has been sitting in my drawer for like 2 years, so I'm not surprised that it might take some going to get going. There's also the gel, Sharpie gel, that actually conical tip, and is Uniball compatible. Right, it's only 0.5. They actually go up to 1 mil. That's what my mom uses. She likes really bold. Super happy with it. You got rollers. I got 2.5s. I thought I had a 0.5 and a 0.7. Here's a needle point roller. And they also conical for Sharpie. They do the needle at 0.5 and conical at 0.7. Probably cut all the ink stuff out. Elliot. Either way, super happy that this could use the juice up. It fits perfectly. You want to stick with the original spring. I would say if you have at least an original slim bolt, I think they might be updating to the newer clip. The original one, you want to switch that spring to a G2, like the one from the classic refill. It looks like that out of your regular American gel pen. Well, guys, hopefully you had some good info here. You saw some of the changes. I think the slim side click is going to be one of my most favorite pens here. And I'm happy to have the seasonal one. If there wasn't one, I would have still bought, kind of like the slim bolt there, just the standard one. Let me know what you think down below. What do you think of all the improvements they made? Are there any other pens you want to look at specifically in my collection, or ones you think I should get and look at? Any questions on the ink as well, put it down below. And as always, I'm at TheProfosist. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram.